So far, we've been discussing various aspects related to the opportunity that exists in buying a home in Goa. That is all very fine, except that there is one important factor that needs to be kept in mind before you make the purchase. Any and every purchaser needs to understand that buying a home in Goa comes with its own legalities and need to be in place. It's true that some of the procedures are just like any other state in India, but then there are some peculiarities too.
Investors in the past have had problems. So that is one of the advantages you have when you're investing in a gated community, because then the project has already been, the title of the property has already been verified, and all these legal issues are already taken care of.
It is pertinent to note that Goa continues to have Portuguese personal law relating to marriage, divorce and succession. Personal laws of different religious communities prevailing in rest of India are not extended to the state of Goa. Barring the above major laws and other specific laws referred to hereinafter, the rest of the laws relating to property prevailing in India apply equally to the state of Goa.
But some of the more important ones I would think are, I always believe, is that first thing is always have an independent lawyer, number one. Number two is, make sure that all the documents are in order, the title documents are in order, make sure that your advocate does that. Then the construction licenses, permissions, the technical things and everything is in order. And of course, make sure that you can issue a public notice and make sure that, and more importantly, have a local lawyer. Especially when you're some investor from out of state, you could have your own lawyer that your family lawyer or somebody whom you're known to, you will want them to check. But what will happen is they will miss out on the nuances of the Goan law, because Goa has got its own unique Portuguese civil code and unique laws which are applicable, which the outstation lawyers may not be familiar with. So it's good to have a local lawyer who will verify and ascertain all these things to make sure that your title is clear.
In Goa, one common Portuguese family law relating to marriage, divorce, succession applies to the Goans uniformly, irrespective of their religion. Both the spouses have an equal half share in the assets held by them after marriage by default, unless a contract called prenuptial or antenuptial contract is executed prior to marriage to not have the said communion. The spouses are termed as co-sharers and not co-owners. In view of this, it is absolutely essential for both husband and wife to be parties in a conveyance, as conveyance by only one spouse is totally void and does not convey his or her half share. This is different from the concept of co-ownership, where one co-owner can convey his undivided right, for example, children who inherit property from parents, or persons buying the property jointly would be the co-owners who can alienate their undivided right. Only death or divorce cuts off the communion. Upon death, the half right of the parent is inherited by the children, who are then classified as co-owners and not co-sharers like husband and wife. Also, under another law called Código Registro Predial, which means the land registration code, the acquisition of title to the property is registered in two records called A. Description and B. Inscription. The former describes a property with its boundaries and allocates a number. The latter records inscription, that is, source of acquisition of title to the property, and the entry made by the officer on verifying the title and name of the owner is inscribed against the corresponding description number. This registration is not to be confused with the registration of deeds of sale, gift and agreement by the sub-registrar under the Indian Registration Act, under which the sale of property is registered, whereas under Portuguese law, where the title in the land is registered. Another distinguishing feature is the order of succession, whereby the half right of a spouse first passes on to the descendants, then to the ascendants, then to collaterals, then to the spouse, then to other relatives, and lastly to the government. In the absence of the first category, the succession passes on to the next category. Therefore, care has to be taken when the couple passes away issueless, unless there is a will or gift executed by them to take care of the respective half rights. It must not be confused that the half right would straightaway go to the other spouse.
So bulk of the property in Goa has been inherited. It had belonged to some ancestor at some point of time. So as an investor, it's important to make sure that the succession is clear. And because Goa has got Portuguese law, there is inventory involved, or there is a succession, act involved. So we need to make sure that all the heirs are parties to the deed and who have sold the property are involved in the development. That there is no particular brother and sister or somebody, who is been suppressed and which will come to haunt you later.
Now, let us look at the documents of the verification that are absolutely necessary. 1. Whether the area is in settlement, agricultural, green or industrial in the regional map relating to villages or outline development plan, that is cities under the Town and Country Planning Act. 2. Whether conversion sanad is obtained under Section 32 of the Land Revenue Code, converting area into non-agricultural, since all the land is deemed to be agricultural. 3. To check whether the Town and Country Planning Department has approved the subdivision or building construction plan. 4. Whether the municipality, corporation or village panchayat has approved the subdivision or construction license. In the case of areas falling in the coastline, it is important to check whether the Coastal Zone Management Authority has given approval under Coastal Regulatory Zone (CRZ) regulation. In the matters of CRZ, there are some important points to be kept in mind. 1. Between 0 to 200 square meters from the high tide line is a no development zone where no development is permitted. 2. 200 to 500 meters from the high tide line, regulated development is permissible, having 33% floor area ratio, height restriction of 9 meters from ground level, and the buildings to have ground plus 1 floor only. 3. In ecologically sensitive areas having ancient monuments, turtle nesting, etc., no construction is allowed. It is also crucial to check whether approvals from environmental authorities are obtained if the development exceeds a prescribed built-up area of 20,000 square meters. If all this sounds confusing and complicated, here's a simple way out to ensure that the property you buy is free of all legal encumbrances. How do you do that? It's simple. Choose a home that has been built by a trusted developer with years of reputation and experience. In this case, let your choice rest on Ashray Developers. Having nurtured Ashray Developers from ground zero, Ashwini and Girish Raga want the work to speak for itself. The couple understands the intricacies of working together and appreciate each other's inputs. When it comes to division of work, the art of visualization falls in Ashwini's lap. A student of Goa College of Architecture, she spends time recognizing client choices, keeping the classic and trending design aesthetics in vision, and then churns out the best laid plans. But homes are not built on paper, and the masterful strokes of Girish come into play. A civil engineer from Karnataka University in Belgaum, he loves a challenge and pushes innovation with every development. With the duo's expertise integrated, a variety of beautiful developments have become home to families and businesses in Goa. All this while ensuring that when they develop any project, all the legalities are in place and every little legal angle has been covered.
I was very lucky to find Girish. He's extremely flexible, and if anything goes wrong, he makes sure that it's corrected.
If you're ready to buy a home in Goa, get your checklist for the required documentation ready. There is something very basic when it comes to any transaction, and that is honesty. This is the mantra at Ashray Developers. With Ashwini and Girish Raga by your side, you have nothing to worry about. After all, peace of mind is absolutely essential when you move into your new home in the beautiful land of Goa. In the next episode, you might be surprised when you find out that an apartment or a villa bought in the serene and calm land of Goa can actually turn out to be a source of good revenue for you. So how does this never at a loss investment work? Let's find out in our next episode of the Goan Living.